Manchester United crisis. Is Ruben Amorim's time running out? Welcome back to United Daily Updates, your trusted source for everything Manchester United. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we bring you the latest news, analysis, and updates about our beloved club every single day. We are here to keep you informed about what is really happening at Old Trafford, and today we have some serious news to discuss. Introduction. What is happening at Manchester United right now? This is the question on every Red Devils fan's mind as we sit here on September 30th, 2025, watching our club struggle once again. Just when we thought things might be different, just when we believed that Ruben Amorim could be the man to turn things around, we find ourselves in familiar territory. The pressure is building, the results are not coming, and the future looks uncertain. Today we are going to talk about everything surrounding Ruben Amorim's position at Manchester United. We will look at what Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable journalists in football, has said about the situation. We will discuss the results, the problems, and what might happen next. We will also talk about potential replacements, with Xavi's name being mentioned as someone who would jump at the chance to manage United. This is not just another update. This is about the future of our club. This is about whether we continue with Amorim or whether we see yet another managerial change. So let us dive deep into everything you need to know. The current state of Manchester United. Let us be honest with each other. Manchester United are not in a good place right now. We are 6 games into the Premier League season, and we have only won 2 of those matches. Think about that for a moment. 2 wins out of 6 games. That is not the standard we expect from Manchester United. The latest result was particularly painful. A 3-1 defeat away at Brentford. This was not just a loss. This was a performance that raised serious questions about the direction of the team. Brentford are a good side, but Manchester United should be competing with them and beating them. Instead, we looked lost, confused, and lacking in the basic qualities that make a team successful. But here is the thing that makes this even more concerning. Ruben Amorim has been in charge since November 2024. That means he has had almost a year to work with this squad. He has had time to implement his ideas, to work with the players, to build something. Yet in all that time, he has not managed to win back-to-back league matches. Not once. Can you imagine that? A Manchester United manager who cannot string 2 consecutive wins together in the Premier League. This is a club that has won more league titles than almost anyone else in England. This is a club that should be competing for trophies, not struggling to put together a winning run. What Fabrizio Romano is saying. Fabrizio Romano is known as one of the most reliable sources in football journalism. When he speaks, people listen. He has connections everywhere, and he usually knows what is happening before most other journalists. So when Romano talks about Ruben Amorim's future at Manchester United, we need to pay attention. On his Here We Go podcast, Romano gave us an update that will worry many United fans. He said that Ruben Amorim's position is not safe. Now, this does not mean that United are actively looking for a replacement right now. It does not mean they have already decided to sack him. But it does mean that things are serious. Romano explained that Manchester United are hoping to see different results in the coming weeks. They want to see a reaction from the team. They want to see improvement in quality and in results. They want to see something that shows them Amorim can turn this around. The club is not panicking yet. They are not making phone calls to other managers. They are not secretly interviewing candidates. But they are watching very carefully. Every game now matters. Every result is being analysed. Every performance is being judged. Romano said that if United keep losing games in the next few weeks, the situation could change very quickly. In football, things can move fast. A manager can go from being safe to being sacked in the space of a few bad results. We have seen it happen before at United and at other clubs. The message from the club seems to be clear. They are giving Amorim a chance. They are showing him some trust. But that trust is not unlimited. He needs to deliver, and he needs to deliver soon. Why is Amorim struggling? This is the big question everyone is asking. Why is Ruben Amorim struggling so much at Manchester United? He was doing well at Sporting Lisbon before he came here. He had a good reputation. He was seen as one of the bright young managers in European football. So what has gone wrong? There are many possible answers to this question. Some people will say that the Premier League is different from the Portuguese league. It is faster, more physical, more demanding. Managers who succeed in other leagues sometimes struggle when they come to England. We have seen it happen many times before. Others will point to the squad. Manchester United squad has issues. There are players who are not good enough. There are players who are past their best. There are players who do not seem to care enough. Maybe Amorim is trying to work with a group of players who cannot do what he wants them to do. Then there is the question of tactics and style. Amorim has his own way of playing football. He has his own ideas about how the game should be played. But maybe those ideas are not working at Manchester United. Maybe the players do not understand what he wants. Maybe the system does not suit the players he has available. There is also the issue of pressure. Managing Manchester United is one of the hardest jobs in football. The expectations are enormous. The media attention is constant. Every decision is analyzed. Every mistake is highlighted. Some managers can handle that pressure. Others cannot. Maybe Amorim is finding it harder than he expected. Another factor could be the club structure. Manchester United have had problems off the pitch as well as on it. There have been questions about the recruitment strategy. There have been changes in the backroom staff. There have been issues with the ownership and the direction of the club. Maybe Amorim is trying to work in an environment that is not set up for success. Whatever the reasons, the fact remains that it is not working. The results speak for themselves. 2 wins in 6 games is not good enough. No back-to-back wins in almost a year is not good enough. Something needs to change, and it needs to change quickly. The Brentford defeat, a closer look. Let us talk specifically about that Brentford game because it really highlighted many of the problems United are facing right now. A 3-1 defeat away from home. On paper, it looks bad. But when you watch the game, it felt even worse. Brentford came into that match with a clear plan. They knew how they wanted to play. They were organized, they were aggressive, and they executed their game plan perfectly. Manchester United, on the other hand, looked confused. There was no clear pattern to the play. There was no sense of what they were trying to do. The defending was poor. Really poor. Goals were conceded that should never happen at this level. Basic defensive mistakes. Poor positioning. Lack of communication. These are fundamental things that should be sorted out by now. Amorim has had months to work on the defense, but it still looks shaky. Going forward was not much better. United created very few clear chances. There was no cutting edge. No creativity. No spark. When you have attacking players on big wages who are supposed to be among the best in the league, you expect more. But it is not happening. The goal that United scored was more of a consolation than anything else. It made the scoreline look slightly better, but it did not change the reality of the performance. Brentford were the better team on the day. They wanted it more. They played with more intensity. They looked like they had a clear idea of what they were trying to do. After the game, you could see the frustration on Amorim's face. He knew it was not good enough. He knew that questions would be asked. He knew that the pressure would increase. And he was right. The bigger picture, almost a year without consecutive wins. Here is a statistic that really stands out. Ruben Amorim has not won back-to-back Premier League games since he arrived at Manchester United in November 2024. Think about what that means. It means that every time United win a game, they fail to follow it up with another win. Every single time. This is not just bad luck. This is not just a run of difficult fixtures. This is a pattern. This is a sign that something is fundamentally wrong. Good teams win consecutive games. Good teams build momentum. Good teams go on winning runs. Manchester United under Amorim cannot do any of these things. Why does this keep happening? After a win, you would expect the team to have confidence. You would expect them to play with freedom. You would expect them to build on the positive result. But it never happens. Instead, they seem to go backwards. They seem to lose confidence. They seem to forget what made them successful in the previous game. This pattern is particularly worrying because it suggests that the problems run deep. It is not just about individual mistakes or bad luck. It is about something more fundamental. Maybe it is the mentality of the players. Maybe it is the tactics. Maybe it is the preparation. Whatever it is, Amorim has not been able to fix it. In modern football, consistency is everything. You need to be able to win games week after week. You need to be able to handle different opponents and different situations. You need to be able to perform under pressure. Manchester United are not doing any of these things consistently, and that is why they find themselves in this position. What does not safe really mean? When Fabrizio Romano says that Amorim's position is not safe, what does that actually mean in practical terms? Let us break it down. First, it means that the club is not fully committed to Amorim for the long term. If they were, Romano would not be using that language. He would be saying that the club backs him completely and that his job is secure. But that is not what he is saying. Second, it means that the club is monitoring the situation very carefully. They are watching every game. They are analyzing every performance. They are keeping track of the results. If things do not improve, they will have to make a decision. Third, it means that Amorim is working under pressure. He knows that his job is on the line. He knows that he needs to turn things around quickly. This can be both good and bad. Sometimes pressure brings out the best in people. Sometimes it makes things worse. Fourth, it means that the fans should prepare themselves for the possibility of another managerial change. We all hoped that Amorim would be the answer. We all wanted him to succeed. But football does not care about what we want. Football is about results, and right now the results are not there. However, not safe does not mean about to be sacked. There is a difference. United are not actively looking for replacements yet. They are not in talks with other managers. They are giving Amorim a chance to fix things. But that chance will not last forever. The next few weeks are critical. Romano made it very clear that the next few weeks are absolutely critical for Ruben Amorim. This is make or break time. This is when he needs to show that he can turn things around. This is when he needs to prove that he is the right man for the job. What does United need to see in the next few weeks? First and foremost, they need to see better results. Wins. Not draws. Not narrow defeats. Actual wins. The team needs to start picking up 3 points regularly. But it is not just about results. It is also about performances. United need to see improvement in how the team plays. They need to see better organization. They need to see more creativity. They need to see players who look like they know what they are doing. They need to see a reaction from the squad. They need to see players who are fighting for the shirt. They need to see effort, commitment, and desire. Right now, too often it looks like some players do not care enough. That needs to change. They also need to see evidence of a clear plan. What is Amorim trying to build? What is his vision for the team? How does he want United to play? These things should be becoming clearer with time, but right now they are not obvious. The fixtures coming up will be important. United need to look at the schedule and identify games they can win. They need to target those matches and make sure they get the points. They cannot afford to drop points in games they should be winning. Every game now is a test. Every game is an opportunity to show improvement. Every game is a chance for Amorim to prove his critics wrong. But every game is also a risk. Another bad result, another poor performance, and the pressure will increase even more. Manchester United's response so far. So how have Manchester United responded to this situation? What are they doing? According to Romano, they are taking a measured approach. They are not panicking. They are not making rash decisions. But they are also not ignoring the problems. The fact that they are not in talks with other managers is significant. It shows that they want to give Amorim a fair chance. They do not want to be a club that changes managers every few months. They understand that stability is important. They know that constant change is not the answer. At the same time, the fact that Romano is saying Amorim is not safe shows that United are not blind to the situation. They can see what everyone else can see. They know that the results are not good enough. They know that something needs to change. This suggests that United are taking a wait-and-see approach. They are giving Amorim some time, but not unlimited time. They are backing him for now, but that backing comes with conditions. He needs to deliver, and he needs to deliver soon. This approach makes sense in many ways. Sacking a manager after just 6 games of the season would be extreme. It would send a message of panic. It would make United look unstable. But at the same time, if things do not improve, they cannot just ignore it forever. The club is probably having conversations with Amorim behind the scenes. They are probably telling him what they expect. They are probably giving him targets to hit. They are probably making it clear that improvement is needed. The Xavi factor. Now let us talk about the elephant in the room. Xavi. Fabrizio Romano has made some very interesting claims about the former Barcelona manager. According to Romano, if Manchester United called Xavi today and offered him the job, he would say yes immediately. This is big news. Xavi is a legend of the game. As a player, he was one of the best midfielders of his generation. He won everything with Barcelona. He was a key part of teams that won Champions League titles in 2009 and 2011. He played beautiful football. He understood the game at the highest level. As a manager, Xavi has already shown that he can win things. He won La Liga with Barcelona in the 2022-23 season. That is a major achievement. Winning the Spanish league is not easy, especially with Real Madrid as competition. Xavi proved he could handle the pressure at a big club. Since leaving Barcelona in 2024, Xavi has been out of work. He has been waiting for the right opportunity. According to Romano, he is ready to try something different now. He is ready for a new challenge. And the Premier League really tempts him. Think about what that means. The Premier League is the biggest and most competitive league in the world. Every top manager wants to test themselves in England at some point. Xavi has never managed in the Premier League before. This would be a completely new experience for him. Romano is clear that there are no contacts between Xavi and Manchester United right now. United have not approached him. Xavi has not been offered the job. But if the situation changes, if United decide to move on from Amorim, Xavi would be very interested. What makes this even more interesting is that Romano says Xavi would be willing to take the job even without European football. Manchester United are not in the Champions League or Europa League this season. For many top managers, that would be a problem. But apparently not for Xavi. He sees the Manchester United job as big enough on its own. Would Xavi be a good fit for Manchester United? This is the question that United fans need to think about. If Amorim does not work out, would Xavi be the right replacement? Let us look at the arguments for and against. The arguments in favor of Xavi are strong. First, he has proven that he can win trophies. That La Liga title with Barcelona shows that he can handle pressure and deliver results. Second, he has experience managing at a huge club. Barcelona are one of the biggest clubs in the world, just like Manchester United. He understands what it means to manage with that kind of scrutiny. Third, Xavi has a clear philosophy of football. He believes in playing attractive, attacking football. He believes in possession and control. He believes in technical quality. Manchester United fans would probably enjoy watching that style of football. It would be a change from what we have been seeing. Fourth, Xavi has credibility. Players respect him because of what he achieved as a player. He can command a dressing room. He can demand high standards. He has been there and done it at the highest level. However, there are also reasons to be cautious. First, Xavi has only managed Barcelona. He has not proven himself in different environments. Can his style of football work in the Premier League? We do not know. The Premier League is very different from La Liga. Second, Xavi left Barcelona for a reason. Things were not going well in his final season. There were problems. The football was not always great. If he struggled at Barcelona, where he knows everything about the club, how will he cope at Manchester United where everything is new? Third, there is the question of the squad. Would the current Manchester United players suit Xavi's style? Do they have the technical quality he demands? Can they play the kind of football he wants? These are important questions. Fourth, Xavi has never managed in England. He does not know the Premier League. He does not know the intensity, the schedule, the unique challenges. There would be a learning curve, and Manchester United might not have time for that. What United fans are saying. The Manchester United fanbase is divided right now. Some fans still want to give Amorim more time. They argue that 10 months is not enough to judge a manager properly. They point out that he inherited a difficult situation. They believe he deserves a chance to turn things around. These fans are worried about becoming a club that changes managers too quickly. They have seen what happened in recent years. Erik ten Hag came and went. Other managers before him did not last long either. Constantly changing the manager is not a recipe for success. It creates instability. It makes it hard to build anything long-term. On the other hand, many fans have lost patience. They look at the results and see that it is not working. They watch the games and do not see any improvement. They ask why they should wait any longer when it is clear that things are not right. These fans point to the stat about not winning consecutive games. They say that almost a year without back-to-back wins proves that Amorim is not the right man. They argue that giving him more time is just delaying the inevitable. Better to make a change now than to waste more time. Some fans are excited about the possibility of Xavi. They remember watching him play for Barcelona. They remember those Champions League finals. They like the idea of having someone with his pedigree at the club. They think his style of football would be perfect for United. Other fans are more skeptical about Xavi. They worry that he is unproven in the Premier League. They remember that other managers have come from abroad and struggled. They think United should look for someone who knows English football better. What is clear is that everyone is frustrated. Everyone wants Manchester United to be successful. Everyone is tired of mediocrity. The question is, what is the best way forward? The problem with constant change. One thing we need to talk about is the danger of changing managers too often. Manchester United have had this problem in recent years. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013, the club has gone through many managers. David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag, and now Ruben Amorim. That is a lot of change. Every time a new manager comes in, there is a period of adjustment. The players need to learn a new system. New coaches come in. Training methods change. Everything gets disrupted. And just when things start to settle down, if the results are not good enough, the manager gets sacked and the cycle starts again. This constant change makes it very hard to build anything sustainable. You cannot develop a clear identity as a club if you keep changing direction every couple of years. You cannot build team chemistry if the squad keeps being rebuilt. You cannot establish a playing style if the tactical approach keeps changing. On the other hand, you cannot just stick with a manager who is clearly not working out. That would be foolish. If it is obvious that things are not right, if the results are terrible, if there is no sign of improvement, then you have to make a change. Loyalty to a failing manager does not help anyone. The trick is finding the right balance. You need to give managers time to implement their ideas. You need to be patient. But you also need to be realistic. You need to recognize when something is not working. You need to know when to make a change. Right now, Manchester United are trying to find that balance with Amorim. They are giving him some time. They are not rushing to sack him. But they are also not ignoring the poor results. They are watching carefully and waiting to see if he can turn things around. What about the players? We have talked a lot about Ruben Amorim, but what about the players? They are not innocent in this situation. Many of them are not performing well enough. Many of them are not showing the quality or commitment that Manchester United fans expect. Some of these players have been at the club for years. They have played under multiple managers. Yet the problems continue. At what point do we say that it is not just about the manager? At what point do we acknowledge that some of these players are simply not good enough for Manchester United? There are players at the club on big wages who are not delivering. There are players who seem to have given up. There are players who do not seem to care about the shirt they are wearing. This is a cultural problem as much as a tactical one. A new manager might help. A fresh voice might spark some players into life. But ultimately, if the players are not good enough or do not have the right mentality, no manager can fix that. The squad needs to be improved. Players who are not performing need to be moved on. New players with the right attitude need to be brought in. Amorim has to work with the players he has. He cannot just bin half the squad and start again. So he has to find ways to get more out of them. He has to motivate them. He has to organize them better. He has to create a system that suits their strengths and hides their weaknesses. If he cannot do that, then maybe someone else can. Maybe Xavi would get more out of these players. Maybe a different manager with a different approach would see improvement. But it is also possible that no manager can succeed with this group of players until there are significant changes to the squad. The importance of the next few games. The next few games for Manchester United are absolutely critical. These are the games that will probably decide Ruben Amorim's future at the club. If United can string together some wins, the pressure will ease. If they continue to struggle, the calls for change will become impossible to ignore. Amorim needs to approach these games with everything he has. He needs to find the right tactics. He needs to pick the right team. He needs to motivate his players. He needs to show that he can respond to this crisis. The players also need to step up. They need to give Amorim everything they have. They need to fight for every ball. They need to show quality when they have the ball. They need to prove that they care about Manchester United and want to turn this around. The fans will be watching closely. Every decision Amorim makes will be analyzed. Every substitution will be questioned. Every tactical choice will be debated. He is under the microscope now, and there is no hiding place. This is what managing Manchester United is all about. This is the pressure that comes with the job. Some managers thrive under this kind of pressure. They rise to the challenge. Others crumble. We are about to find out which category Amorim falls into. Could things get worse? One thing we need to consider is that things could actually get worse before they get better. Right now, United have 2 wins from 6 games. But what if they lose the next few games as well? What if the situation deteriorates further? If United find themselves in the bottom half of the table, the pressure would become unbearable. The fans would be furious. The media would be calling for Amorim's head. The players would lose confidence completely. The whole situation could spiral out of control. This is the danger of the wait-and-see approach. By giving Amorim more time, United are taking a risk. If he cannot turn things around, they will have wasted valuable weeks. They will be even further behind in the league. The task of recovering will be even harder. On the other hand, making a change now when they have not even tried to support Amorim through this rough patch would be a sign of panic. It would look weak. It would send the wrong message. Sometimes you have to back your manager even when things are tough. This is the dilemma Manchester United face. Do they act now or wait? Do they give Amorim more time or cut their losses? There is no easy answer. Both options have risks. The long-term vision. Something that has been missing at Manchester United for years is a clear long-term vision. What is the club trying to build? What is the playing style they want? What is the identity they are trying to create? Sir Alex Ferguson gave United a clear identity. Everyone knew what Manchester United football was about. It was about attacking, about excitement, about never giving up. That identity remained consistent even as players came and went. Since Ferguson retired, United have lost that identity. Every new manager brings a different approach. Every new manager wants to play differently. The result is confusion. The club does not know what it stands for anymore. If Manchester United are serious about becoming successful again, they need to develop a long-term vision. They need to decide what kind of football they want to play. They need to hire managers and players who fit that vision. They need to be consistent in their approach. This means that when they hire a manager, they should not just be thinking about the next few months. They should be thinking about whether this person fits the long-term vision. Can they build something sustainable? Can they create an identity that will last? If Amorim is not the right fit for that long-term vision, then maybe it is better to make a change sooner rather than later. If Xavi or another manager would be a better fit, then maybe they should be brought in. But whoever is in charge needs to be part of a bigger plan, not just a short-term fix. What success would look like? Let us think about what success would actually look like for Ruben Amorim in the short term. What does he need to achieve to keep his job and turn things around? First, he needs to start winning consecutive games. This is the most basic requirement. If he cannot do this, nothing else matters. He needs to show that the team can build momentum and string good results together. Second, United need to